Hi folks, Craig from Arms and Armor here today. We're going to be talking about Type 18 swords. This is a style of sword that was very popular in the Middle Ages, and it's one that you see very often in illustrations, depictions, and in the collections around the world that have medieval swords in them. It was probably one of the more common style shapes, and it is that kind of iconic medieval sword shape with a long, tapering, kind of curved edge on the cutting edges coming to a nice point, and has a variety of different subcategories in the typologies. It kind of goes 18 and then 18A through D, which describe different variations on length or width, or the adding of fullers and other hilt arrangements to it. Ewart Oakeshott, who created the typology that I'm discussing, created an 18E as well, for that kind of Danish two-hander with a large ricasso before it widens out into a sharp blade of this blade shape. Later on, he felt that maybe wasn't a subtype in and of itself, but it is still in the typology as you see it in the books and descriptions in most places. Today we're going to be looking at an 18B that we make at Arms and Armor. It's our Durer bastard sword, and it's something you'll really like, I think. We've named it after Ulrich Durer. He has many pieces of art that illustrate this style of sword, as I said earlier, and is something that really kind of embodies that late 15th century look of a medieval German knight. Hand and a half grip, slightly est guard, wheel pommel. This is a particularly nice sword. The grip is long, so it does have some space between the hands for leverage. The blade's running about 36.5 inches. I think the overall is 47.5 or so. And it is a very elegant looking medieval sword. It's the type of long sword that you see illustrated, as I said, in a lot of Durer images. It has the kind of classic longsword shape. We classify it as an 18B. It's kind of in the variation between A and B, though maybe slightly shorter than some of the other type 18Bs that you see illustrated in collections and such. It's the type of longsword that would easily work well in combat, as well as having as a personal weapon. The blade here is just under 1 3/4 inches and runs in that classic 18 style shape with a long curve to a nice point. The cog on this is about 4.5 inches down the blade, and the grip is running about 8.5 inches long. So it's a real comfortable sword to use. It's fairly lightweight, about 3.1 pounds or so. So it moves quite quickly. It's very popular with cutters in tournaments and in contests, or practice for that matter, and is something that a lot of people have really liked when they've gotten this particular piece. We will provide this in a couple different varieties if you are interested. You can see some pictures on the website of it in a blued with different grip colors, kind of the classic steel finish with the black here. This particular sword is one that we've been making for quite a while. It's based on an original that's a bit corroded, but is of that kind of classic form, and it's in a private collection, or was when we originally saw it. At this point, I am not sure if it's still in that collection or not. The piece had a very nicely refined looking wheel pommel, and that was one of the things that really attracted it to us. Some of the other components were pretty far gone, but as all in all, as a medieval sword, this is a very nice piece, and is one that Durer would be proud of to hopefully have on his hip, and hopefully you will be too if you put it in your collection.